With reflections of a golden era, one Twin Cities radio station known simply as The Good Neighbor. Back in the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, no radio station in the country had better ratings than WCCO.
And it was due in large part to a remarkable staff of announcers. Some, like Jurgen Nash and Franklin Hobbs, have passed away, but others are living legends. Tonight in the Extra, KARE 11's Boyd Hubert catches up with some of your favorite old neighbors from WCCO Radio.
You can open a history book to see what Minnesota used to look like. But this is the way Minnesota used to sound.
This is WCCO, St. Paul and Minneapolis.
If voices could be cast in concrete,
we know how to swing on a can of meth.
These voices would be monuments.
This is Joyce Lamont.
To good radio and good neighbors.
I'll have two guests with me this afternoon on the Viken Show.
Take Howard Viken, who must have read 100,000 school closings during 39 years at CCO. Where do you suppose you'd find him today?
We don't have many school closing announcements down here in Florida.
Only as far from a Minnesota winter as he could get.
It's always the morning man. Let the dog out, make the coffee.
Howard is still up most mornings by 6, reading 2 papers on the balcony of his Naples high-rise within a stone's throw of the beach.
Life is treating me beautifully. Beautifully, yeah. Very lucky.
Howard is removed from Minnesota all but a couple months of the year, but not from Minnesotans.
I said, why do you ask? She said, well, Dr. Smith only sees those kind of people.
He and wife Mary are out tonight with an old sponsor. Naples has a knack for attracting Minnesotans.
To this day down in Florida here, why I see somebody in the grocery store or at the gas station or in a restaurant, and they'll say something like, aren't you Howard Viken? And they say, yeah. They remember the bald head, I guess.
They remember this voice, too.
We're riding high, baby. We know how to swing on a can of meth. Poor boy from the Iron Range, trying to find love and happiness among the swells in Naples, Florida, and finding it.
Yes, Steve Cannon is in Naples, too. But what about the little cannons?
Twins play Cleveland tonight.
Morgan Mundane, Backlash LaRue,
My good fellow.
and Ma Linger.
Underneath that crass exterior of yours, there lurks absolutely nothing at all.
We thought we saw them hanging out at Steve's Minnesota pad. He assures us they're in Florida, too.
Morgan and I go up to the dog track. Mundane and I. He does a little wagering. Backlash LaRue. If you want to see him, he's up at Barefoot Beach, a little north of here. Ma Linger came out here in her bikini, knocked the guy's eyes out. Knocked their eyes out. It was fab.
Cannon still makes brief appearances on The Evil Neighbor, as he's known to call it, and only misses the daily grind when, say, Monica Lewinsky comes along.
That would have been great. I could have had a ball with that.
Long ago, he got the money, and now
I got the sunshine.
I hope you'll look for Miracle White Fabric Softener.
what Joyce Lamont got in 1950, she still has.
Yes, hot chicken salad.
A full-time job in radio, now at KLBB.
Reed Hagen along with Joyce Lamont.
You could have retired.
Never.
With Cy Coleman and...
She's still sharing recipes and travel tips,
The King Jubilee Show with hula dancing and Hawaiian songs and dances.
just like the golden years at 830, where she'll never forget the day she and co-host Bob DeHaven learned of their 69% market share.
I said to Bob, only 69%. I thought everybody listened to us. 100%. He said, now don't be silly. There are other stations, you know.
Just no other stations that sounded like this.
While I sat alone with a feeling of dread, suspicions of lutefisk danced in my head.
Where are these old guys? Are they still around?
Charlie Boone and Roger Erickson are still around, though Roger and his wife are on the road a lot more, hosting tours for Dayton's Travel.
How it came about, I'm not quite sure.
Charlie still works Saturdays at CCO and volunteers 3 more days a week reading books for blind Minnesotans.
The world of travelers was another world to us.
Boone and Erickson are still good friends.
Oh, Mr. Dillon. Mr. Dillon.
Who just last year sold out 8 performances of their radio review at the Old Log Theater.
Just found the Prince wrote up.
Yes, if asked, they'll still do this.
Good morning. Good morning.
It's grand to be on hand. Good morning. Good morning to you. Little off key. A little bit, yeah. But that's the way it was.
If Boone and Erickson owned mornings, the night belonged to a good Joe.
And this is Joe McFarland, McChicken.
Down Norwood Lane in Minnetonka.
Let me see here.
The night still does.
Here we go. Count Basie down for double.
For you younger folks, that's a record player. And this, Joe will tell you,
Boy, what a band, huh?
is heaven.
I would say what I miss the most is being able to play some very good music for some people who appreciate some very good music.
Joe's music is no longer heard beyond his walls, but the voices are out there.
Joyce Lamont is here.
Voices from a million old radios tucked in the place in our minds reserved for comforting thoughts, like warm memories of old neighbors.
It's 11 o'clock, CCO temperature 50. This is WCCO.
Among the other CCO names you may recognize, Chuck Lilligren is traveling, fishing, and lives in Ham Lake. Newsman Dick Chapman took his RV to Texas for the winter. And Maynard Speast lives in a Twin Cities nursing home, never having fully recovered from a stroke he suffered several years ago. Finally, we'd like to give our own Good Neighbor Awards to some folks who helped with this story. CCO newsman Steve Murphy and former engineer Bill Lund. Also, the Pavic Museum of Broadcasting in St. Louis Park. Paul and I, it's a great place to visit if you'd like to learn more about the history of radio and TV in the Twin Cities.
All right. Thank you, Boyd.
You bet.